All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Tuesday morning Inner Circle live session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today, this fine Tuesday. So let's go ahead and dive in. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. So we will review the fundamentals. Got a busy week this week, so we'll check out and see what is to come. Then we'll dive into the charts. We'll take a look at the dollar pairs, dollar crosses first. Get an update. Well, not first, but we'll take a look at those. Get an update on some of the trades that we are swinging, still sitting in, and then if we have some time, take a look at Swissies and pounds. So let's do our thing. Real quick, just drop me one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Perfect. Appreciate it. All right. Let's rock. Perfect. So first things first. We have, let me do one thing here. Boom. All right, cool. So hold on one second. Something isn't happening. Okay. All right, cool. So Brent crude tops $95. Crude touched $95 a barrel, first time since November, while WTI crude approached $93 a barrel, the highest in a year, as concerns about supply deficit have mounted. U.S. oil output from top shale producing regions is set to fall for the third month in October, contributing to further the supply deficit streaming from Saudi Arabia and Russia. Right. So output concerns continue, oil continues to rise. All right. So when we think about that, one of the things to kind of think about on the other side is inflation, right? As oil price goes up, yes, not the core inflation number, but as that number, as oil continues to rise, there's still an increase in cost, which the overall inflation will go back up, right? So something to keep our eyes on as things continue to move. Euro area inflation rate revised lower. And inflation rate in the euro area revised lower to 5.2 in August from an initial 5.3, marking the lowest reading since January 2022. A year earlier, inflation was much higher at 9.1, but it still remains more than 2 times above the ECB's target of 2%. In August, the biggest upward pressure came from the cost of services. My bad. Cost of services followed by food, alcohol, and tobacco. Non-energy industrial goods, energy prices continued to fall at a much slower pace. On a monthly basis, CPI went up 0.5%, slightly below 0.6% in the first estimate. ECB recently revised its inflation forecast upward for both 2023 and 2024, primarily driven by increased trajectory in energy prices. For 2025, the central bank anticipates inflation to average 2.1%. All right. So that's there. Your area current accounts surplus in July. And Chinese yuan weakens in cautious mood. So things are starting to settle in anticipation for the rate statement tomorrow from the Fed. All right. Major boroughs and euros have hovered around the flat line on Tuesday as traders refrain from making big bets ahead of Fed monetary policy decision. Other central banks in Europe, including Bank of England, Swiss National Bank, and Riksbank and the Nords Bank will also give an update on monetary policy this week. Healthcare stocks were the biggest losers, followed by tech and industrials, while energy shares were in the green, tracking higher oil prices. All right, corporate front shares in Santander were around flatline, and the lenders overhauled its corporate structure to consolidate the retail and consumer businesses. All right, so folks got their eyes on tomorrow. Rate statement for the dollar. All right, over to the calendar. It's a view of what we have happening. Yesterday, we had monetary policy meeting minutes for the Aussie. And in those meeting minutes, they talked about, they did discuss a potential rate hike, but ultimately the case was stronger for a pause. So it was on the table, but they chose against it this time around. So we'll see how things go going forward there. Then today. So CPI for the Canadian dollar at 8:30. Housing permits for the dollar at 8:30 as well. Then 1 year and 5 year loan rates for the Chinese yuan at 9:15. Tomorrow is where things start to pick up. We got CPI for the pound 2 a.m. Then we have crude oil inventories at 10:30. Federal funds rate for the dollar at 2 o'clock. And we got GDP quarter over quarter for the New Zealand dollar. Thursday, Swiss National Bank rate statement. Pound, Bank of England rate statement. Unemployment claims for the dollar. President Lagarde speaks existing home claims. Rate statement for the Japanese yen. Right, so we got 3 rate statements on Thursday. Okay, busy day. And then on Friday, we have Bank of Japan press conference, retail sales, tons of PMI data for the euro, for the pound, and for the US, right? So second half of the week is a busy one. So we want to make sure that we keep our eyes peeled there and watch the volatility and how things move. All right. Any questions from a fundamental perspective? No. Hold on 1 second. My bad. So, Benny, were you talking?
Nope. Good morning, though.
Oh, good morning, bro. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty. I'm doing pretty good. Good morning, everybody.
Good, man. Anything stand out for you from a fundamental perspective?
Oh, I just think talking about I'm about to update those euro notes in a Discord. Just in regards to that euro, like they're still off the, even though they revised it down, their inflation, they're still way off that 2% target. And
Yeah.
we've got oil prices going through the roof, which we set that up technically, right? We knew that was coming with the cuts in supply, and we can see now that it's all the news, right? It's hitting the front page of everything that the oil prices are, I think it was approaching 95 last time or something like that, the last article, but we knew that was coming, right? We've been sitting in those trades long, but other than that, just a busy week, man, right? Lots and lots of volatility, which is a good thing, for us as traders. Just trying to do our best to be on the right side of it. But again, with that euro area inflation, even with that update slightly revising down, you still have, energy costs, right? And we know the core doesn't include it, energy and food, but it's still an issue nonetheless. as they're trying to get to that 2% target.
Yeah, yeah, definitely gonna be an issue. Also, last week we talked a lot about the strike for GM, or for UAW. Some updates there. On the U.S. side, if there isn't any progress in the agreement, then more plants will be added to the strike list. What they're doing is they're doing a tiered strike, so not everybody's striking at the same time. I'll come back to that point in a second. Stick a pin there. In Canada, their contract ended last night, and as of today, there's 5,600 UAW members in Canada that have walked out. So they're all, I think, you have 2 or 3 plants in Canada, and they all, and that's for Ford employees specifically. So they all walked out. They didn't want to do a staggered anything. They wanted everybody to strike at the same time. So that's happening in Canada. So back to the United States. I don't know if, aside from consumer spending, I don't know if there's going to be a major impact that will catch the Fed's eye. Reason being, they're doing this staggered strike, meaning not all the plants are striking at the same time. So initially, they selected 3 plants across the country. One of those was here in the United States, Ford Wayne plant. The issue with this is the way Canada extended. Okay, appreciate that, Reese. In Michigan, the legislature is written as such. If the plant has to shut down due to a strike, or has to lay anyone off, if the plant has to lay anyone off due to the strike, those individuals that got laid off, they cannot file for unemployment and they cannot get strike pay. That's how the legislature is written in the state of Michigan. So what that means is, in the plant in Wayne, Michigan, that is on strike, there's only 3 departments within the plant that actually went on strike. They didn't strike the whole plant. So, and it was final assembly and paint. If you can't paint a vehicle, you can't sell it, right? You can't move it out of the factory. If you can't finalize the assembly process, you can't move it out of the plant. So that's going to cause backups in other areas, and those other areas will then have no work to do. So therefore, they'll get laid off. And there's already been 1 department at that Ford plant that has been laid off already. So as this continues, it sounds like as they select these plants, they're going to not strike the whole plant, but it's going to be some departments within the plant that won't allow the vehicles to then be sent out. And that's going to cause some downstream issues when it comes to the union workers, because there's going to be folks that get laid off, but they're not able to get any income. So there's some downstream impacts to the union workers from that perspective. So that could cause some other issues from an internal perspective. However, that's kind of going to be it, right? So I think there'll be an impact on the consumer spending side, but that's it. So, yeah, and those individuals won't have any income at all. So, those are things that it'll be interesting to see how the union plays as this process continues to move forward. But that's the update there. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves, and how people or how the union workers fare from that perspective. So that's the update on the strike. Reese, appreciate the article. Yeah, so it will be it'll be interesting to see how things go forward. All right, so that's where we are. Any other questions, thoughts on the fundamental side? Nope. All right, cool. So we're here on oil. Oil pressing to the upside as the article stated. We moved this level, got broken. This level also got broken. Boom, $93 a barrel. All right, matching the extensions at 95.90, just inside this capital AB boundary. Right, we mapped this out a long time ago. If we come back to the weekly time frame, here's your 80-20 on the weekly time frame. Shallow retracement 118 and 127 zone, and just been running to the upside. Right, on the sub fib we got a 382 and we're pushing. Okay, so oil headed to the upside as anticipated. Will we see a retracement at some point? Potentially. Right, we got that 93.71 level. That we could see a pullback back into that B boundary 236 retracement zone, and then see price continue pressing to the upside, right? Which could put us in a potential head and shoulders type scenario if that occurs, right? Something like this here. Boom. Just that level, right? If that occurs, boom, head and shoulders. If we get that pullback down into that B boundary 236 retracement zone, that's what we could potentially see. But run into the upside nonetheless. All right. So coming back to the daily time frame, we're inside that AB boundary, pressing long. The extension is there on the sub fib. On the 4, this is what will look like on the 4. 618 retracement. That the extension on the sub on the fib to the upside has been achieved. Yeah, and so we're looking for a fresh AB boundary to form here. Okay, so we'll watch that 93.71 level, see if we get a retracement, and then a continuation to the upside there. All right, to the 1, there's your 1 hour, right? And your 1 hour D extension is just above that at 94.45. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone. So it'll be interesting to see here if this lower time frame 80-20 plays out and we don't get to that D extension before we get the retracement. All right, so we'll watch that and see how things continue to move forward. And that rate statement could potentially give us a little bit. We'll see what happens there. Still got supply issues, so it could just continue to power through that and continue pressing to the upside. All right, that's oil. Any questions here? Oh,
No.
all right, cool deal. Give me 1 second. All right, sweet. So let's take a look at the dollar. Dollar. Coming back down. That's on the 1 hour. Let's come back to the daily. Boom, right? So we hit this daily level of resistance. Okay. Daily level of resistance, and we've been stalling. Haven't been able to break through that level to get to the sub 50 extension. Stalling there at 13,077. Okay. We'll see, right? See what happens with the dollar if the Fed comes through. George still holding that oil trade. Great work. She's been in that thing for quite some time. Great patience, great allowing price to do what it does. We'll see what happens here, right? See if we get a retracement at least back to the daily support level, maybe deeper, all depending on what the Fed has to say tomorrow. But we'll watch that and see if this 80-20 scenario plays out here. Coming down to the 4, right? On the 4, we got 50% retracement and we press into the 118, 127 zone. So we'll have to watch to see again how things transpire there with the Fed and what they choose to do. There we go. All right, so there's that 4-hour fib there. Okay, so looking to see if we get a retracement and then a continuation to the upside. Coming down to the 1, here's a look on the 1. Boom, 382, just shy of the D extension there on the 1 hour. So we'll see if that daily level holds and gives us a retracement or not. Right. So from a higher time frame perspective, we may get a pullback first, but that's all going to be dependent on the Fed and what they determine. Okay. If they hold rates, we'll see this come down to the downside. If they raise rates or do some sort of hawkish pause, right, we could see this rise to the upside. So we'll watch that there. So that's the DXY. Over to the dollar yen. Come back to the daily. Clean this up a bit. Oops. Playing with a lot of things here. We'll get there. Maybe. There we go. All right. So on this dollar yen on the daily time frame. Nope, that one was taken out. Okay, so that was right. Running the fib off the low. I thought there was another fib there. My bad. Boom. There we go. That's the one I wanted to see. 618 retracement. We're making our way to the upside. Right. Still no changes for the Japanese yen. So we're pressing to the upside. We're sitting at a level of daily resistance. We could potentially get this retracement back down to the support level at 144. We'll see how things move, but we're stalling there. Okay, so maybe we get a pullback, be range bound for a bit before we get that break and push to the matching D extension on the daily time frame. Okay, coming down to the 4. Here's where our smaller fibs come in. Boom. So here on the 4, we have the 80-20 scenario, right? So if we get this pullback here, that'll play into, right, the 80-20 scenario playing out, potentially working out at that 144, 198 level. Okay, so we'll watch to see how that moves, but obviously we need the Fed to to give us that catalyst in order to make that happen. All right, so we'll watch and see how things transpire. We'll be patient there and see if we get that 80-20 scenario to play out there on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, coming down to the 1, we also have an 80-20 scenario here, right? The extension is just above at 148, 084. Okay, so let's watch this closely, all right, and see what happens, and see if we get a catalyst to make this shift. All right, you can run your trend lines to the upside, like so. Right, watch your trend lines there. Right, if you trade trend line breaks, right? So that's our consolidation or sideways push. Run the trend line to the outermost point, and we'll look to see if we get a bearish engulfing candle breaking that trend line to the downside. We can also drop the cloud on. We'll see cloud pressing sideways through price, right, back and forth, coming into a point of decision. So we shall see what happens here, right? But we'll watch this closely to see if we get, right, an indication of break and maybe even a pullback and a retest for a continuation to the downside to give us this 80-20 scenario to play out, right? Back to that support level, 330 pips. So this is one that we could watch out for, right? To the 1-hour D extension is 31 pips. To that daily D extension is 108. Right, so it's a 3-to-1 risk to reward if you place your stop outside of that 148, 841 level. Potential opportunity there, right? But we need the catalyst to move price to the downside before we do that. So we'll sit and wait patiently for that to develop. Any questions on the dollar yen?
No.
All right, cool deal. Take a look at the dollar CAD. Woo. That one's flying to the downside. Daily time frame. There we go. Take some of this stuff out of here so we can see it. I'll pull this out for a second. We'll come back to that fib. Daily time frame, we got a 6-minute retracement press to the upside, right? Now price is coming back down. Okay, this is a swing high there. Boom. Pressing down to the downside, got a support at 133. So we'll see what happens here, right? This one's already moving back down to the downside with the strength of the Canadian dollar and oil, right? So we'll see what happens at this. This was a previous resistance level, broke through. We get retracement and a retest. Maybe this pushes deeper to this next level at 132.41. Right, so we'll watch this zone here to see how price responds and ultimately what happens with the dollar as well. All right, so that's the daily time frame. We also got that Canadian CPI data today, so that could also be a catalyst for this to continue to press to the downside if those numbers come in high. Right, so that's something for us to watch and pay attention to. Okay, on the 4-hour. Go. Run the fib off the low here. Boom. There's that retracement, right? We're deep in the zone on the 4. That support level, right, comes in line with the 8-6 retracement. But if we break that, we could be headed lower and take out that A boundary. Okay. So we will continue to watch there and see how deep price moves. Okay. Yeah, so this level is going to be key for us to watch on the 4. Nice deep retracement there, coming down to the 1. I'm going to run these both ways. Boom, right? Pressed up, didn't get to the D extension, took out the A on this last push to the downside here, right? So running the fib off the high. There we sit. So in that scenario, we'll see what happens. Do we get to the D extension, that support level, or do we get a retracement first? Right? What happens with that CPI data? Okay, so we'll watch this on the 1 hour to see if it's been a long, strong move to the downside, right? We got 382 retracements in here, right? But no deep retracement. So let's watch this also and see how things develop. See if we get a retracement first before we get a continuation here. Okay. So we got data coming in later on that might give us that catalyst for that pullback. Like so. Okay. So we'll watch and see potential 80-20 on the dollar CAD on the retracement play there. All right. Questions on the dollar CAD?
Hey, Ryan.
Sir.
Where'd you go back a little bit? Where'd you start your upfib at? Because I got stopped profited on that. I was so upset because it came
I started
within
right here at the low here.
At the low, like roll it up a little bit at the let me see mine. Mine's the one I had set up came out a little bit different. Let me see.
Ran it off this low, July 13th.
I ran it off of let me see.
Did you?
Because I was in that one, I had adjusted my stop, and then it crashed down. The way mine was set up, it was like a few pips away from the D extension to the upside, and then it collapsed and stopped me out. So,
yeah, that's where this is on the 1. That's where.
Yeah, let me see the date where I got my circle.
And it was just shy of hitting that D extension here, right?
Let me see where you at. I can't see it move forward.
That last up fib. was just shy of getting to the D extension before it collapsed.
Yeah. You good. You good. Okay. I see where you're at. Yep, that was it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if we get a retracement here. Shall see. Shall see. Any other questions on this one? Nope. All right. Cool. Dollar Swiss. Woo. Been on the run. Go back to the daily and track it. But here we are on the daily time frame, fib coming off the high. And there's our 80-20 scenario. We wicked that 382 right here, right? Wicked that 382, pressed down into that 118, 127 zone, that daily support, and just been running to the upside, right? Swiss National Bank is expected to increase their rate to on Thursday. The forecast is 25 basis points. Right. So we'll see what happens there. The last 3 meetings, they held rates. Last 4 meetings, they held rates. So we'll see if we'll see what they decide to do. Okay. So coming into a daily resistance level at 91.24. We'll see what happens there, see if we get a retracement and potential continuation. But obviously, we got both of those central banks giving monetary policy decisions. So we'll see how things transpire there. Coming down to the 4. Here we go. No, not that one. There we go. Here we're coming off the high. See, we're in the deep retracement zone, right? 618 on the 4 with that daily resistance level coming here, all right? Just shy of that 786 retracement level. So we'll watch this and see if we get catalysts for this to run back down to the downside, right? We're deep in the zone, starting to press sideways ahead of those reports. So that will be interesting for us to see here, right? We might have an opportunity to get short here after the news for the dollar and the Swissy, right? So we'll watch this one and see if we get the catalyst for that one to go. That'll be a deep move if that happens. I don't think that's an all-time low. Yep, that's that depegging there. No, it's not. My bad. No, it's not. We got a deeper level, so it's not an all-time low. So we could potentially push down to 83,004 level. Yeah. That'd be a nice move if we get the catalyst for it. Nice move, we get the catalyst for it. So we'll watch this one as well, right? 618 retracement. See if we get the catalyst to move this to the downside. Okay. I'd like to see it tap that daily resistance level. We'll see though. We'll see what happens there. Okay, so that's the 4.
Hey Ryan.
Yes, sir.
On that 4, because I played it off a trend line break to the upside, coming off the higher time frame. So if you run your fibs off the low on the 4, you're approaching the D extension as an ABCD move off the trend line break. They played long.
Right in line.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so we got some confirmation of that daily resistance level there. Yep. I like it. Appreciate that, bro.
Okay. Yeah, because it went long against the Swissies across the board pretty much.
Yeah. So we'll see if we get that rejection there and we get a catalyst to move it to the downside. We'll watch and see there. All right, coming down to the 1. Let's see. Similar deal on the 1, right? Deep retracement on the 1 hour. Okay. Off of B boundary push, deep retracement, and then off that sub fib to the upside that Benny just had us look at. 118 to 127 zone falls in line with that D extension, that sub 50 extension on the 4, right? So if we get another push to the upside, could push into that 118 to 127 zone, give us an 80-20 scenario, right? So we'll watch that to see if we get all of the stars to align here for a push up, and then see if we get a move back down. Okay, so let's watch that one closely and see how things transpire over the next couple of days. See if we get that opportunity there. Okay. Boom. Questions on the dollar Swissy?
No.
Nope. All right. Cool deal. Dollar yen, dollar cat, dollar Swiss. All right. Let's look at the NZD dollar real quick. NZD JPY pressing to the upside, risk off scenario. NZD dollar. It's trying to make its way. Daily time frame. We zoom in here. Right? Deep retracement on the daily. Boom. A 786 retracement. We're trying to get a push back to the upside. Okay. Trying to get a push back to the upside. I'll come back to those notes. We got a resistance level coming in here. Boom. Okay. So pressing to the upside here. We're trying to, at least. Trying to get a move to the upside. We also got a smaller level of daily resistance here that we're about to run into, right? So we need to break this daily level at 59,452, continue to the upside to get to that 61.43 level. But trying to press to the upside nonetheless here, right? We got higher lows. Now we're trying to create a higher high. We'll see if we get it. Okay, but deep retracement there. I don't know if the dollar give us a deep retracement like that, but we'll see what happens. If we break this level, then we got some room to run a bit to take us higher. Okay, so we'll watch that and see what happens at these next two levels, 59,452 and 61.43. Coming down to the 4, right? Similar look to the daily on the 4. Deep retracement. Here's an 8.6 retracement, right? So this 56,690 level will be 63,690. That'll be the matching the extension if we get things to align and press to the upside there. Okay. So we'll watch that closely to see if the swing continues to happen and if we get that push to the upside to the matching the extension there on the 4. Okay. Then coming down to the 1, we'll run that fib off the high. Was that it? Yeah, that was it, right? Because originally I was looking at this 80-20 scenario, but we didn't get back to the 382 push to the D extension, fresh AB boundary here, and we're trying to make our way. So we see the sideways push here, right? And got to break through that resistance level to give us that catalyst to move to the upside. So just pressing sideways right now. We'll see what transpires and if we get an opportunity to get continue long there, but got to break that level there at 59 in order to continue long. So just watching this one to see if we get a break and a retest and potential continuation to the upside here. Something like that. If we don't, press down, get to the D extension, break support and continue moving to the downside. All right. So that is the NZD dollar, right? Waiting to see what happens. Is there any questions here?
No.
Sweet. Aussie dollar. Nice move to the upside on it. So on the daily time frame, right? Boom. We know we're down, right? Came into this level of daily support. and range bound a bit, got a weekly resistance level at 65,148, trying to press to the upside here, right? Let's see if we come back and retest that level before continuing back to the downside. So we'll watch that to see how things transpire there. Now, if we do break this level, right? If we break this level, then could be headed to 60, 66, potentially a bit higher, 67, 68 range. So this level is going to be key for us to watch as we continue to move through this retracement phase. Coming down to the 4. See if we get those to pop back in for us. Maybe not. No. Let's see here. Mapping the fibs out to the downside, see where they come back in. Boom. Nope, that one got taken out as well. Sideways push. Let's see. That's long and drawn out, isn't it? Let's see. Come here. Yeesh. That high got taken out, so we'll come there. Boom. Wow. All right, so we're coming all the way down to this most recent double top here on the 4. Boom. All right, so we got a just shy of 50% push there, and then it's just a sideways. So a sideways consolidation happening there. Again, that level is going to come into play and be key for us if we push back into that level at 65,148. All right. Anticlimactic there. Let's see. Coming down to the 1. Fibs running to the downside. Nope. There we go. All right. So there's your deep retracement there on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. So if we get there, we take out the A and the fib will flip. Boom. Okay. So sub fib matching the extension, 50% retracement in line with that 65,080 level. Right. So we'll be watching that zone if this continues to press to the upside throughout the day, potentially the week, and then we'll see what transpires from there. Right. So this one's just pressing sideways right now. Want to see what happens at this top level here at 65. Right. So not a ton doing there. Questions on the Aussie dollar? Nope. All right. Cool deal. 1 second. All right. So that's the Aussie dollar. Let's look at the euro dollar. Retracement zone. All right. And then we know this is our capital fib, 618 retracement, but we've been pressing to the downside most recently. So here's our sub fibs running down, right? Got a level. This was a weekly support level that we ran into, right? Weekly level that we ran into, and we're getting a retracement after that strong push to the downside, closing out last week. So what'll be interesting to see is, right, how deep does this retracement go, right? What happens with the Fed if they pause, right? If they pause, do we get head and shoulder scenario here? Like so. All right. Do we get that to happen? We'll see. We'll see, right? Tons will have to happen for that to occur, right? So we'll watch to see if this plays out or not. But that weekly support held, we got a reaction and see how deep the retracement goes. Coming down to the 4-hour. Okay. I got fibs going in both directions here. All right, that's the capital fib. There's a 786 retracement on that capital fib, right? So again, seeing if that head and shoulders pattern plays out inside that fib and then gives us another move to the downside. That's what we'll wait to see. Okay, but been a move to the downside, a strong one at that. We'll run the sub fib from top down and right, formed a fresh B boundary on the sub fib at that weekly support level. So we got a reaction. We're getting that retracement. 382 comes in line with that daily resistance level here. Okay, so we'll see what happens there as we move throughout the day today and the early hours of tomorrow, right, ahead of that statement. But we're in a retracement phase so far. Coming down to the one, here's where we get 80-20 scenario, right? We talked about this last week, seeing price push down to this zone, right? 118, 127 zone, and we got a bounce, right? Nice bounce, nice retracement. Now we're pressing to the upside, and we'll see again how deep that goes. But again, this 1 hour fib kind of plays into potential head and shoulder scenario, right? It's a little shy of that daily resistance level, but even if we press into the deep retracement zone on the 1 hour time frame here, still puts us in that head and shoulders category. All right, so we'll watch and see if we're able to break this daily level at 107. That's going to be key. If we break that level, then we can definitely head higher. If we don't, look for price to get this will be a high price on the lower time frame, and look for that to turn over and press back down to the downside. Right, but we're in a down retracement zone right now, and we'll just see how deep that retracement goes. Okay, but there's your 80-20 moving to the upside so far out of that zone. I'm off the low, 64 pips. The entry I took at 34 pips. So moving to the upside there. Any questions on this euro dollar and that retracement?
No.
No.
It's a nice move.
It is. It is. We shall see how far it goes.
Yeah.
These have been interesting, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, just look for pullbacks and continuations off the lower time frames if you're not involved in that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Hold on one second, everybody. All right. My bad. So that's what we have there. Yeah, let's drop down to 15 and see what we got. We'll run the fib off the low here. Boom. Coming into a D extension there. So that's in line. Check that out. So that'll be in line for, right? Penny said retest continuation. So D extension get hit here. See if we get a pullback continuation to the upside. That's on the 15. Okay. Down on the 5. Similar story. Similar story, right? So look for that D extension get hit, and then look for a pullback. Price pushes back into our zone, then we'll we can look for some lower time frame opportunities to get in this to the upside there. Okay. That's the euro dollar. Questions. Did I answer that already? Nope. All right, cool. Appreciate it. And pound dollar. Pound dollar. So here on the daily, we're coming into key support levels. Okay, we got a 382 push actually just shy of that on the daily time frame, right? Strong move to the downside. We know what's been happening with the pound. We know what's been happening with the dollar. So question is, what happens in this zone? All right, we got daily support and a weekly support here. We're already trying to push back to the upside, but what happens here? Okay, what happens here in the zone? Does this hold and do we get a retracement? Right, which would make sense, right? We'll go into with that what we saw in the euro dollar. Okay. But obviously things have to happen with the Fed in order for that to occur. So if this level holds, we'll look for a retracement, high price, and then at some point get back short. Okay, so we'll watch to see if we get that continued retracement there. Coming down to the 4 on the 4 hour, right? We're pressing into that 50% retracement zone. So that daily support lies 50% retracement. And you see we've been kind of stalling out. I actually got some bullish action happening here on the lower time frame. So we could be in for that retracement to come. So we'll watch that and see if we get that to swing and at least give us a high price. Coming down to the 1. There's the move, right? Fresh B boundary, D extension achieved, daily support, right? And we also talked about this last week, allowing price to get here. Excuse me. And then seeing if we get a retracement off the support level. Okay. So that fell in line with what we were looking for. Price came down. It's holding, right? And we're seeing price turn over. Okay. So we'll continue to watch this to see if we start to get some breaks. Let's see. Pressing into the cloud here now. Just moving sideways. So we could see some consolidation occur here ahead of tomorrow. All right, but we'll watch that to see what happens there. But that's where we sit, fresh B boundary. Just need some confirmation on that retracement to the upside if we're going to get it. Okay, and then maybe we push down weekly support, maybe even into that 118 and 127 zone before we get the retracement. All right, so we'll watch that and see how it transpires, see how it develops. But that's the pound dollar. Questions on this one? Keep your eyes peeled. No?
No.
All right, we're moving. Take a look at these Swissies, Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss moving to the upside here, right? As we wanted it to. Oh, I got this on there. That's what that is. All right. Let me pull that off. There we go. Let's come back here. Oops. Run these down. Boom. All right. Pressing to the 118, 127 zone, weekly support, pressing to the upside. We've broken these daily resistance levels here, right? And we're pressing long. So next level, 58,581, next resistance level that we'll come into. Okay, so price pressing to the upside on the daily, coming to the 4. I'll leave those in. Here's our fib on the 4. Here's that 80-20 play, shallow retracement, 118, 127. Got sub fibs running to the upside here, 382, pressing long. Excuse me. D extension on the sub fib comes in line with that 382 retracement. So pressing to the upside will be just shy of that 50% retracement once that D extension is achieved. And then we'll see what happens from there. Okay. See if we get to this resistance level before Thursday, right? So we could see this continue pressing to the upside in the short term. Okay, but the 80-20 scenario playing out beautifully, right? Took its time, but off the low, so 182 pips to where price is currently, right? And potentially more to go. So beautiful move, beautiful swing, and still got some movement happening. Coming down to the 1, right? Here's our capital fib with the sub fibs in as well. All right. And we're pushing along. We got a 618 retracement. We'll see if we get that continuation to the upside. See the sub fib is running here, matching the extension here in line with that daily resistance level. Okay, just barely with that 382 on that sub fib as price pushes to the upside. Okay, so pressing long, broke through that level, right? We got break, retest, and now we're continuing to the upside. So we'll look for that to continue moving long. Questions on the Aussie Swiss, right? And then we'll see what happens on Thursday. See if we get something to change that and reverse that back down to the downside.
No.
No, all right. Cool deal. CAD Swiss. This has been a beautiful move, man. It took its sweet time. But look at that. And there's your 80-20 on the daily time frame. We've been watching this thing since the end of last year, right? Got stopped out on profit. Good work. Right? Managing the trade. That's what it's about. So took its time, triple bottom, weekly support, and we're just running, right? We got a break now of that 66,152 level. So now we're off to the races. Next level, 68,295. So we'll track this when we get there. We'll see what transpires, and we'll manage the trade. The 382 on the daily is up here at 73.12, which is still quite a bit a ways away. Off that entry, up 155. Okay, so price is moving beautifully. We'll continue to watch it, see how it goes. Coming down to the 4, and we'll look for pullbacks and continuations. Okay, going down to the 4. Here's the 80-20 on the 4. Right, broke the inner trend line. Now we're breaking that outer trend line and pressing long. All right, so good confirmation there, continuing to rise. On the 1 hour time frame, we'll run the fibs off the low and track those moves. Boom. Right, so we got a shallow retracement here, but I don't know if we get a pullback before we continue to the D extension here. So we'll watch that to see prices just running to the upside. So we'll allow it to run as long as it wants to. Right. So I don't know that we get the retracement there. Okay. That was the original move. Boom. All right. So that's running to the upside. That's we'll say 180 to the good. So we'll continue to track it and look for pullbacks and continuations. Questions on the CAD Swiss? Nope.
No.
All right, cool deal. Won't be able to get through all of these, but we'll take a look at the Swiss yen. Just want to track. I'm continuing to track this one. Still think that it's going to continue pressing to the upside. We got this monthly level, monthly D extension at 176.321. It's slowly tracking to the upside, trying to get there. So we'll see if we get a retracement before we get the continuation. But the level's not very far away, right? So what I'd love to see is an 80-20 scenario here on on the weekly, right? Either that push down to that 236 level or just continue to rise into that zone, right? And then give us that opportunity to take that move back down. So we'll watch that from a weekly time frame perspective. Coming down to the daily, we're just shy of the D extension, trapped in this range. Okay, the yen's not ready to make its move yet, so we're sitting patiently waiting. Okay, likely get to that D extension, and then we'll see what transpires from there. Coming down to the 4, we've broken the cloud on the 4. Okay. Hold on one second. All right, so present to the hovering in this range, daily support. We broke the cloud. Let's see if we press back above the cloud. We'll see what happens and see if this daily level continues to hold, right? So having pushed into that 118 and 127 zone, we zoom out, that D extension is there, that monthly level is higher. So we'll see what happens with the Swissy in their rate statement. If they come in hawkish, we'll just see this continue to rise, as personally I would like to. Then coming to the 1 hour, you see just sideways push there. Okay, so not much doing there. Okay, so that's the Swiss yen. Questions on this one? No.
No.
All right, cool deal. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? Didn't get a chance to go over some of the ones that we're sitting in, but we got some plays that are still running in our favor, still doing their thing. So, no questions. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Just continue to be patient. Hey, there's a lot of news and data this week, so make sure you trade accordingly, manage your trades.
Yes, sir. All right, good people. Have a phenomenal day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.
Thank you.